Well, it has happened again. I think at this point we can call it a pattern. Um, Quick summary: a woman in, I believe, Florida was given the news you don't want to hear ever, which is that an adult was harassing her kids. She went to speak with that adult, and when she knocked on the door, she got shot through the door, and she was killed in front of her kids. Of course, the woman was the person who shot her, the woman that shot her to death, that murdered her, was immediately arrested. And I'm just kidding. This is the United States of America. The mother who was murdered in front of her children, um, she was black, and the person who murdered her was white. And so the sheriff really needs to think this one over. Really needs to be absolutely sure that there was a crime done here. Look at an NBC News article about this. Calls for woman's arrest grow. Again, justice must be called for after the fatal shooting of her neighbor in Florida. This is by Antonio Planas. Calls are growing for the arrest of a woman accused of shooting her neighbor Friday in Florida in an incident a nationally renowned civil rights attorney described as an unjustified killing. I think that is a correct way to describe it. The children of the victim, identified as A.J. Owens, were playing in a field near an apartment complex in Ocala, when attorney Ben Crump said an unidentified white woman, 58, began yelling at them to get off her land. Her land. An apartment complex. And calling them racial slurs. According to Crump's statement, after the woman yelled slurs at Owens' children, they accidentally left an iPad behind, which the woman stole. He says took. I say stole. If you scream at kids and scare them away, and they drop an expensive piece of equipment, and then you take it, that's stealing. When one of Owens' children went to retrieve it, she threw it, hitting the boy. Now she's assaulted a child and cracking the screen. Owens walked across the street to speak to her neighbor after she learned what happened, Crump said. She knocked on the door, and at that point, the woman allegedly shot through the door, hitting AJ, who later died from her injuries, Crump said. At a news conference Monday, Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods did not confirm or reject Crump's account, telling reporters he was not going to stand here and tell you what they're putting out there is inaccurate. It's just I don't know yet. Okay. How about this? Oh yeah, and then there's these things. There had been a long-standing neighborhood feud between the shooter and Owens about her children. The children may have been hit by a pair of skates. Was something thrown at them? Yes, but not directly at them, from what we're being told now, Woods says. When Owens came to the shooter's door, there was a heated exchange. Owens was shot through the door. At least 2 of Owens's 4 children may have witnessed the shooting. Woods promised Owens's family his office will provide all resources available to seek justice in the case. Okay. Let's drop the bullshit. What do you say? I got something I want to tell you. Let's assume for a moment the worst about Owens and the best about this racist see you next Tuesday. We have multiple witnesses in the form of the children that racial slurs were used. Assuming the worst, okay, there's a long-standing feud. And let's just say that Owens couldn't wait to whip this woman's ass. Let's assume, even, that Owens came there to do just that. Good. Anybody who uses racial slurs on children, we have a duty as a society to make sure their teeth get kicked down their damn throat. And ass whipping is called for in that situation. That is a normal reaction to that nonsense. Sheriff isn't denying that the children were assaulted. Throwing something at children is assault. A poorly executed assault, you don't throw things at children. You don't physically attack children. Even if it's not legal to go attack somebody who attacked your children, the question the law is supposed to be asking is, what would a reasonable person have done? I think I have an answer for that. Let's go to the king of reasonable people. I want to reframe this just a little bit. Let's look at what a reasonable person does with folks like that. See if this makes sense to you.
I'm gonna kick your ass. I'll kick his ass. Someone's gonna kick his ass. Come here, I'm gonna kick your ass. And I also have the authority to kick your ass. Maybe I ought to tie that long hair on your head to the short hair on your ass and kick you down the street. You two take turns kicking each other's asses. And the second I see some ass, I'm kicking it. For your next trick, why don't I kick your ass? Because I want to know whose ass to kick. I'm gonna kick your ass. Or I'll step over this hedge and kick your ass. And it'll match your ass when I'm done kicking it. You thief, I'll kick your ass.
And man,
Hey, I'll
take it out
kick
on
your
day
ass,
one,
I'll
part,
tell
man.
you
I'm
what. Let us go now, and I promise I won't kick your ass later. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna have to kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your asses. You're next. I'm kicking your ass through that thing. You give that back before I kick your ass. Take off that crown. I'm kicking your ass. Trust me, getting your ass kicked isn't gonna make you feel any better. Or you'll kick his ass. Would a prepubescent girl be able to kick your ass? I ought to kick my own ass. And stay away from my son, or I'll kick your ass. I'll kick your fat...
Hey, just one more time.
my own ass. And stay away from my son, or I'll kick your ass.
I think what we've learned here is that if Hank Hill was a black person in the South, he would have been shot through that door. There's an unreasonable double standard. There's nothing about this that needs special attention paid to it by the sheriff. Here's a question. Were there signs on the apartment door that it had been that Owens had been trying to force her way in? Somehow I doubt it. I very much doubt it. Truthfully, I don't know yet. We'll find out. But unless Owens was actively actively trying to kick down the door, this is premeditated murder. In fact, even if Owens was trying to kick down the door, unless it was clear that she was making progress, why wouldn't you just arrest the 58-year-old racist see you next Tuesday who shot someone to death in front of her kids through a door? By default, when you shoot somebody through a door, it's pretty clear that you are attacking somebody from a place of safety. There have to be really wild circumstances involved for that not to be an immediate arrest. I don't want this person out in the community, presumably still armed. Premeditated murder. Why? Because she called a bunch of kids. First of all, they were not on her property. They were in a field near an apartment. Let's just assume, again, the worst case scenario. Okay, that field is owned by the apartment. It's not owned by the 58-year-old racist. She just didn't like black people near her. She used slurs. She assaulted the children. Doesn't matter if she threw the iPad or the skates. Doesn't matter. She stole from the children. What would a reasonable person expect to happen next? You'd imagine you're going to hear from their parents. She goaded that woman into coming over to her place and then murdered her. And the fact that we are once again having to wait to see if this will be handled like murder means it's going to happen again. It means another person will do this because they think, I bet I could get away with it. I could get me one of them N-words. I'll just pretend I was scared. A message to white Americans. You're cowards. I don't like that you make me look like a coward. A lot of you either engage in this nonsense or you don't do enough to stop it. This is on us. Hey, white people, this is on us. We need to stop this. We cannot ask black people time and time again to be the ones making America a decent place. I don't want to see a march where it's a bunch of black people out there demanding they be treated like human beings. I want to see a march where it is wall-to-wall white people demanding this sheriff arrest this see you next Tuesday. It will already happen again. We've already failed. Because the last time this happened, when a guy shot a kid for daring to knock on his door, there was hesitation by the police. Because to them, the extraordinary circumstances, the thing that makes this so important to get just right, is that it was a white person who killed somebody. Because if it was a black person who shot a white person, we wouldn't have even heard about it. It would have instantly been an arrest. The trial would take about 5 minutes. I put the contact number or the contact page for the sheriff's department in the description. Use it. Call them and tell them They can either, this is Sheriff Billy Woods, of course. You can tell Sheriff Billy that he can either send some deputies to arrest this murderer, or send his deputies to get ready to redirect traffic for the protests, which we will be attending. I'll take the damn bus to Florida if necessary. The crime says a lot, and the hesitation to do anything about it says so much more.